good. It's a triple-double for Bella Earl.
Goes matched up with a speedy guard. Great screen, spin move, layup, he missed it. Williamson fights for the board. His putback is good.
What's up, everybody? It is another episode of the Straight Outta Whack podcast here on this wacky Wednesday. You notice we're doing quite a few on these wacky Wednesdays as we put them out because, well, the whack is wacky this year. 7 teams in the league with all the departures. Next year, there will be no Western Athletic Conference. It rebrands to the United Athletic Conference because 4 more teams go their separate ways. Like, it's just crazy. There was an announcement that the UAC is adding Arkansas Little Rock, and there's reports that they may be adding 2 more teams. So, conference realignment. But with that being said, from West Texas joining us today, I shouldn't say West Texas. It's like Central Texas because Stephenville is not quite to Abilene. So it's not quite West Texas. But Bill Brock from the new, I can't remember, is it the EECU Center? Is that right?
That is correct. EECU.
There you go. And his new office, I guess the big question is, how are you liking your new dig so far?
Oh man, it's great. Anytime something's new, it's a very exciting time for us. And just like when you buy a new house or whatever, you're working out the kinks, and we don't know if something doesn't work sometimes until the day we try to use it. But it's a beautiful place, and not only is that a great place for basketball, which it is, but I do think it's really great for the people in this part of the state, and that we can host headliner shows, concerts, things like that, and the people we already had a couple in here, and it just basically sold out. So that's really, really special for the community.
Is it, Daryl pointed out today, he tweeted out that you have an exhibition game coming up where you host Kansas State, and it's going to be actually broadcast on ESPN Plus. How excited are you that you get a chance to, even though it's an exhibition game, you get to have a team like Kansas State come to Stephenville, to play a game in that new arena, like break it in with that game?
Yeah, it is. Our men actually are hosting this Sunday. They're playing the same kind of situation. They're playing TCU, and then we got Kansas State to come down for the women. Very, very thankful that Coach Jeff Mitty would come in here and play. He's formerly from TCU, women's basketball there, and he still has family and relatives and lots of friends in the area. So it'll be a chance for him to sort of, come back in the general area and reacquaint with some of those. But I think more than that, it's a chance for our players to see what kind of level of basketball the P4 schools are. And, I've never been as excited about getting my butt beat, but, that's exactly what's going to happen. And we know that, and there's a reason for it. But that doesn't mean that we can't go out and play hard and try to compete to the best of our ability.
Go ahead, Daryl.
And Bill, with 11 newcomers right now, you're going to throw them right to the fire, right? With a Power 4 scrimmage exhibition, right? You do have some WAC experience though among those newcomers. Gia Adams, the former WAC newcomer of the year in 24, joins the Texan fold from North Texas.
Yeah, she's been in that situation before. We got Jacoria Long back from last year, and then we got Luca's here from Denmark. She's a senior guard. We got Kyriana Jones back from last year. She's a wing player, and we lost all of our posts to the course. It's like the transfer portal giveth, and the transfer portal taketh away, and so the only team I know that in our league, the best team as far as returners go, Abilene Christian kept their top 7 kids, and we cannot say that. That's how many we lost to the portal. So, we're trying to just get to know each other. Some days we look okay, and other days we sure do see how much improvement we need. But the kids are doing everything that we ask of them. I mean, they're playing hard. They're attempting, to defend and rebound, which that's always been my go-to thing. That's what you have to hang your hat on, I think, because, offense comes and goes, but defense and rebound has to be something that's non-negotiable and something that you hang your hat on as a team.
How do you get these new players that are coming in to buy in a relatively short time, right? Like you don't have a ton of time in the summer. You don't have a ton of time, what is it?
20 hours a week.
Yeah. So you don't have a ton of time to get them. Like, how do you approach that to get them to buy into what you're trying to do? And I mean, I don't know. Maybe as a coach, you realize you think to yourself, well, this isn't going to happen right away, early on, but just throughout the process as you get going into the season, how do you get them to
I think, Kyle, I'll try to answer your question. It's a daily process, and some days you think they have it, and some days you wonder, have I really even been doing a good job of teaching it? I mean, you question what you're doing. And I know I've been in it for a while, and I know there's going to be an ebb and flow to this. But I do know that if you continually stress the things that are important to you as a coach and as a staff, eventually it's going to be like a sponge and it's going to soak in. And someday they'll just start doing it naturally. Having some kids that do have some 4-year experience, that does help. But still, one of the hardest things to do, I think, in basketball, and I've told them this several times, is to unlearn. You have to unlearn where you came from and try to learn, our system and our terminology. Sometimes terminology is a big deal, and sometimes it's not. But this group has caught on pretty good as far as that goes, and their effort's been outstanding. And we've had them through a short summer term, and then now in the preseason, and then now starting official practice. So I think we're getting a little bit better than we were in the summer, but we have a long way to go. And like you said, with 11 newcomers, I figure that there's going to be some inconsistencies early, and I just hope that we're able to straighten that out by the time January gets here.
Bill, one of the biggest areas of loss for you guys, you mentioned it, was the post room. Fluker and Faith Acker both leaving via either graduation or the portal. Just talk about the race down there to fill those shoes. You had a Tessa Engelman, one of the Max top shot blockers a season ago. Just talk about the race to fill those spots in the paint.
Well, you hit it the nail right on the head there, Daryl. I mean, it's you got to have somebody in there that can give you some scoring threat one way or the other, either at the block or able to step out and shoot. But the thing that concerns me the most down there is defending and rebounding. And that's the thing right now that we're trying to work on. We've had a couple of injuries, and it's when anyone gets an injury and you have 11 new players, it just throws that person behind. But we do have the option right now. We have a couple of kids that can score a little on the block, and then we have a couple also that can shoot the ball at the 3 line. So that does help. That does help. Our most experience right now is at our guards, and our guards are going to have to help carry us early.
Bill, what do you, when you say most experienced guards, does that, you've been in this league a couple years now, and the guard play has been really good all around, I feel like, from every team. Was that kind of an emphasis, or is that just how the recruiting process felt for you guys this year, as you've learned what this league is about and kind of what drives the motors of each team?
Well, I do think it was a point of emphasis in recruiting, and we had to get some kids in here with some experience. We just didn't have time to wait on a high school player, and so by doing that, we brought in a couple of seniors in Gia and Luca, and then to go with Jacoria we had coming back from last year, Mimi Willis coming back from last year, and then a wing player returning in Kai Jones. And I think that those guards will give us, hopefully they have the ability to settle us down, and hopefully they have the ability that when we need to get a shot, they can either create one or take one.
I do have one question about something you mentioned there. You said you didn't have the time to develop a freshman. How has that changed? You've been around college basketball a long time, right? And how does the transfer portal impact that, where you have newcomers every year? And I don't even know how to work the question, because it's like,
well, I'll help you out a little bit here, Daryl. I've coached junior college for 14 years. I feel pretty comfortable doing the portal, because in junior college, I was always, trying to get new half my team every year. And that's exactly what this has turned into. And people that have not had that experience, I think that's the ones probably that would say the most about their change or how they've had to adapt and stuff like that. It's tough, but at least I've had that experience before, and I know what it feels like to have a bunch of new players. I can recall some junior college teams I had anywhere from 12 to 14 new ones, each year. And there was 2 or 3 years like that. Not every year. I mean, you would always like to have, half and half in junior college, but it just doesn't work out that way. And I think with the portal now, here's the problem. A player comes in and she wasn't getting everything that she wanted or had desired or something at the school she was at. And she comes in here and you really, really pour yourself into her as a staff, and you really, really develop them. And you know what happens next. If they have a really good year, they're going to go in the portal again and see if they can get a better deal. And I don't think you can blame the players. I think, that's just what's happened, and we have to adjust as coaches. And, I was talking to my wife about this the other night, and I had already said it, and she said it again. And she said, well, and she made the comment, said, "You're just like you were in junior college again." And I said, "You're exactly right." And she said, "You either have to change or you have to get out." And, I've been able to adjust to that. Now, I do say that, my first year here, we were able to, like Faith Acker was one of them, we were able to use her, and she was one of the better post players in the league as a freshman. And she come in, and then last year she really came on and made some more improvement. And you see what happened to her. I mean, she leaves us for money and goes to a P4 school. And I just don't know if we're going to have a trend that's going to be just really in concrete right here, or are we going to see something where some of the kids that come to a mid-major programs and they make that jump and go to a much larger school, let's say they don't get the playing time and they don't get to have the ball touches and stuff that they had at the mid-major level, because, we ran sets in certain plays for those kids. When they go to the P4 level, which I was at for 21 years, I mean, there's going to be 3 or 4 just like you there. And you've got to go in there and beat some of those people out. So are we going to have a little trend here? Some people are going to watch and they'll say, well, Deborah Jones over here, she was at, University X, and I'm looking at her, and she was really a good player there. And she was a double machine at that school, and she's gone to a P4. Are some kids going to look at that and say, maybe I ought to stay where I'm at and go ahead and develop my game and get better numbers, and then my chances to play pro ball will be better because I'll have a better stat line? I don't know. And I would just think that that's something that kids will have to find out on their own.
Yeah, that whole grass isn't always greener type deal. It'll
Exactly.
be it'll be
Exactly.
interesting to see, if
Right.
players start kind of catching on to something
Yes.
like that, like you said, where they can play at that mid-major
Yes.
level and compete and get touches and get their numbers, get their minutes, and yeah, that'll be
What
interesting to
you
see.
hope
That's a
for,
great
and
thought.
I'm talking about my kids that left. What you hope for is wherever they went, if they plugged a hole for someone. But that's just not the case, guys. Y'all know what's going on. I mean, uh, Coach Jeff Golden on my staff. I mean, he has a great term for this. He says it's just like speed dating. I mean, you make calls, and if somebody bites, you just continue the conversation. If not, if that girl don't want to go out today, you call another one and see if she wants to. And so that's just sort of how we try to approach it. There's no kind of scientific explanation for it. There's no rhyme or reason why some kids. I mean, y'all can look at it and see why some kids sign at a certain major school and they weren't very good where they were at. And I don't know. It's not my job to be concerned about everyone else. I have plenty of issues for my own team, and so you just try to deal the hand that's dealt to you, and you just try to play that hand and do the best you can.
I like it.
Speaking of roster construction, last year when we chatted, you were talking about getting old and staying old. Do you kind of feel like that's going to be the theme as we go forward? Save that year where you graduate a bunch of them and you can't refill as old as you want it to be. Is this kind of reload of the roster the way you want to go about that?
Yeah, I do think that you're better, Daryl, if you can bring in experienced players. I really do, because here at our level, we have to play some of those money games, and I don't want to take 5 freshmen and go out there and throw them into to a TCU, a A&M, or a Texas, or a Nebraska, or something like that. And I want some people that have been through the fire some. That are used to being away from home. They've been coached hard and held accountable somewhere. And I think with an older player, you have less of that. Now there still is the issue sometimes with players that may be older, but you better look at their track, their background. You really don't want to have a kid in here as a senior and she's been at 5 or 6 schools. I mean, something doesn't add up there. And so, I think it goes both ways. I think we have to do as much vetting as we can, but you got to understand too, we're working at a pretty fast pace once people hit that portal. And unfortunately, kids have to make a pretty quick decision. And I do think there's probably lots and lots of decisions that are made without visits. And that may be part of the reason, too, why kids don't stay very long at some of these schools. They made the wrong decision. I know this for a fact that, people, coaches and all of us, kids will come on a visit. They do come on a visit. And, we ran into this last year 3 or 4 times. Okay, Susie, I'm here today and I'm offering you a scholarship and I have this money that I can offer you. It may not be there when you go back home tomorrow. So, that's putting pressure on kids to make quick decisions also. And I think the more qualified, dependable people that a player can have in their corner, the better decision that they're going to make. The problem is that we just don't have every player in that portal is trying to do something. They're not getting sound advice sometimes. There's too many people in their ear. And I think that probably occurs more. I know it occurs more at the P4 level than it does at our level, but it occurs at all levels. And, us don't be dumb here. There's lots of people trying to stick their hand in there and pull a chip out or get a piece of the pie, whatever you want to say, with these guys, because it is a business. And I just hope that I really, really hope that most players have someone that they can talk to seriously and someone that they can count on to give them an honest answer.
Just to illustrate how fast that process of, portal recruiting occurs, like from when you guys got knocked out of the WNIT, how quickly were you into the portal attacking, getting ready for this year?
Probably at the airport the next morning. I mean, it goes fast, and they want to know, well, coach, now how many of your kids are going to go in the portal? Because once you get beat out, kids enter pretty quick. And like us last year, though, we knew that we were going to have a significant amount of openings because we had 8 seniors. But then we had, what also played in last year, and the portal situation was the kids who had played junior college got an extra year. And,
the Diego Pavia ruling.
Yeah. And so we benefit from that in one case, and then it cost us a player. It cost us 2 players also. And so, I don't know what's going to happen this year. And, and you go back right now and you mentioned a while ago about us staying older. And what's the head coach for the men's team at Illinois?
Oh, Brad Underwood.
Brad. Yeah. Brad said in an article I read, he said, this is the most NCAA college football I've ever watched since I've been coaching basketball. And he said, the reason for that is, he said, I've made 1 high school practice this year. He said, we are signing no high school kids early. He said, and usually this time of year, I'm trying to bring in the top kids for a football game or something. He said, I've been able to watch a lot of football games this year. And what he's doing is just trickling down, because you can see right now that there's good high school players that are not getting the offers they thought that they were going to get. And it's because of the portal, because the portal now has taken the place of, the most important time for us now is the portal, not the summertime recruiting. And, so it's a change, and change is good in most cases. Whether this is a good thing, I don't know. I think you've got to have about a 5-year period to decide. People do numbers and stuff. I just know there's a lot of kids that went in that portal that didn't have a place to play, and they went in a portal from somewhere. And I read yesterday with John Calipari. He said, unfortunately, if a player comes in and tells me they're going in a portal, I will not take them back. And he said, you tell me you're leaving the Arkansas and leaving the Razorbacks, you will not have a choice to come back. So, coaches have varying opinions on that also. I just don't think there's a set theory that works. I think you got to do what works best for you. And I think you got to be comfortable in the kind of players you take. And there's certain things that all of us are going to have some boundaries and limitations on. And we got to make sure that those players we're bringing in are someone that will fit in our box. And because, it's harder and harder now, and people talk about it all the time about trying to maintain and create a culture. Well, you can't maintain a culture if you don't have a culture. And so you got to bring in players that fit what you believe and the players that you want to be around. Because, guys, I'm not going to bring in someone that I don't enjoy being around at practice and enjoy being around on the road. Or if I got to be concerned about them, getting in trouble here and getting in trouble there, because as much vetting and investigating that we do, we get enough by surprise. We don't need to be taking some that we know there's a definite issue.
Yeah, the portal era has made recruiting crazy times.
It is. I don't know. I'm sure somebody would like to just know, bless you. I'm sure Someone that's like, well, what do you do? How do you do it? I don't know. I mean, I know what we do, but I just don't think no one could write a research paper on this.
Yeah.
And because there's just not there's not set rules.
You would have a bunch of different outcomes based on what each individual staff does, but then it would change from year to year. And
right.
Yeah, that research paper would be quite. Yeah,
it'd be
like
almost a dissertation.
You couldn't write it. You couldn't write it.
It'd be, yeah, you could write a dissertation on that's right. And everyone that writes one on it's going to be correct because it's a matter of opinions. And it could not be diffused by facts. I mean, because you're going to find players that will fit into every category and they will support how it was done. Then you're going to find 10 more that it didn't work. So, guys, I don't know. I just, I know y'all talked a little bit about our conference this year and stuff. It's a little bit crazy. It's definitely not ideal. I don't think there's anybody in this league who wants to play everybody 3 times. And that means when you get in the tournament, you got to play something. You got to play 4 times. And, but that's another thing too. There's no need of sitting around and bitching and complaining about it. I mean, because negativity can take over every day if you allow it. But we got to play everybody 3 times. That's what we had to do to get a schedule. And like you said, Arkansas, Little Rock coming into the UAC. There's talk about 2 more might be announced as early as sometime this week. And we'll see where that falls to. And then you're going to see this conference form this year. And then I would almost make you a sizable wager that then next year all of these teams won't be here because it seems like everyone's always looking for the sweeter deal.
Yeah.
And but I think you need to try to get into something to a league that's solid. And I think the UAC is a good competitive athletic league, and I think it serves its purpose. And I think out in the West, the Utah schools stuff that were in the WAC, I think they're going into better situations and especially for their for the transportation and redevelop some rivalries and things like that. So I think in that regard, you can't be upset for them leaving. But it's something else, guys, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like you can't blame anybody for leaving, especially like you said, the Utah schools, CBU doing what staying regional, doing what's best for them. It's just sad that them leaving and obviously losing Seattle and GCU this year and everybody we've lost prior to that is forcing the demise or the end of a conference that's been around since JFK was in the White House.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right, Daryl. It is. And it's just like one of the Power 5 conferences dissolving. And now we have people flying from one coast to the other coast to play athletic contests. I mean, if you stop and think about that just really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Nope.
It's all governed by money. We all know that. But, whatever went to the old phrase that we're going to do what's best for the student athlete. Well, that's not best for the student athlete.
Yeah.
To be on a plane in the middle of the week. Football, you can sort of justify it in the fact that, well, we just got to do it one time a week. But other people, what if you had 2 road games in 1 week in another sport? But again, people much, much above my pay grade make those decisions. And I'm thankful that at Tarleton that our president, Dr. Hurley, is very pro-athletic. But another thing to be said too, he doesn't do anything for athletics. He didn't turn right around and do for the academic area here. And we got new buildings going up everywhere and new dorms. I'm very, very thankful to be able to play in a new facility, and it's beautiful. And I'm thankful to be here at Tarleton. And we're going to try to do the best we can do with what we got, and that's all you can do. Just come every day, come to work, and that's see if we can get a little better than the day before.
Bill, what's your favorite part of that new arena, if you have one?
Oh, my favorite part is
Besides your office. Besides your office.
Well, yeah, I got a little room now. My assistant coaches are so excited now. They don't have offices. They didn't have any sunshine coming in. They all got offices now. They can look outside but I guess my favorite part of it would be two parts. Everything that we have on our side of the arena. I mean, I love the court. It's great. I like the proximity of the seats to the court. But one of the things that I really like the best is our new training room. It's pretty special, and I think it will help us in recoup. Get treatment quick, better methods to treat injuries, and I think that's going to help us in the long room. Our locker room, of course, much more spacious and all that. Everything's always bigger but I've been around this 2 or 3 times now, but they did this right, and it's really, really a nice looking arena. And we had Midnight Madness in here on Monday, and it's pretty neat.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Bill, before we go, quick look at the non-conference. Arkansas Little Rock coming in, and then you're in that MTE with ACU that has Buffalo and Montana. Coming to Texas. How excited are you to take on the defending WNBA?
Right. That's great on that tournament that Abilene Christian's having, but they did not make it an MTE. They might be listed as an MTE, but they didn't make it at MTE, and because one of the schools didn't want to do that, and it actually cost us 2 games because if it's an MTE, it doesn't count. So, but I do like the idea of playing different people. I do like that. That's going to be a tough weekend. And then we got to go to Texas State. We play Arkansas State here. We got to go to TCU. We go to Texas A&M, and so we better these new ones better. Jump in line pretty quick and be ready to play.
Not a whole lot of room for growing pains on that schedule.
Oh, no. But that's good. I mean, that's good. Some of them right now is they're learning that the things that are emphasized here are things that might not have been emphasized where they came from. But I think we're going to be good when we get playing time together. And, there's just some things that, like your children, some things you just got to learn over time. And I think this right here, we got to learn. We have to become a better team over time. The only way to do that is just to play.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that exhibition against Kansas State, that you're playing against somebody other than your own team, right? Like that's what you like to see is that opportunity, and your players get excited for that. Bill, before we let you go, I gotta ask you one question. We've asked every coach this. You've been in the WAC now 2 years. This is your 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
What is a trip when all this change happens? After this season, that you won't miss, or maybe one that you will miss? We've had a couple of coaches tell us trips that they will miss.
I don't have to hear anymore. I'm glad I don't have to go to Seattle.
It seems that's a norm, Daryl, right? Like that's
been one mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because and maybe it was because of where the trip fell. We always had to go out there, and then we'd play someone on a Thursday. Then we had to be in Seattle and play on a Saturday. And that's pretty tough, guys.
Yeah.
Especially for us, we don't get the charter. And, you got to get up the next morning and leave and get up there and take a flight. And it's usually from where you're going to Seattle, there's a difference in the weather change, and you're losing another hour. And then what really kills you is that you're leaving Seattle and coming all the way back, back to Texas. I don't mind going west. It's coming back that just kills you. and then
where you
it-
gain that
it's
hour back.
hard.
Or,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, that's some things that I won't miss the trip to Seattle. I mean, I don't have anything against the coaching staff or anything like that, but you're not going to have me crying over not going to Seattle. Now, I did like to go to Seattle. I got to see some of my former junior college players up there.
well, so there's
And,
pluses and minuses. It's just
yeah.
the travel part of
yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. But no, I'm sure some of them they're going to be glad they don't have to come to Texas and play play us Abilene Christian or UTA or make a whole trip down here and just get to play one game.
Yeah.
That's not good. It happened to us last year. I can't remember if it's once or twice, but we had a home game and we had to jump on a plane and be somewhere and play on a Saturday out west.
Yeah, I think the men's coaches I've talked to, they mentioned that Abilene Tarleton trip that they won't miss just because
Yeah.
one, it's tough to play there. Two, the travel, like you said, and you know all about it, the travel is challenging if you're not chartering a flight, right? And
Right.
so yeah, it's interesting how it's the West doesn't like to go east and the East doesn't like to go west, and it's just
Which,
yeah.
with that being said, in the new league we're going east.
Yep.
Some, we're not going west. We're going east. So, that's going to be a lot better for travel, I think. Now, I don't know exactly yet about the airport situation and things like that, but it might be a little bit better for traveling for players. They may recover a little quicker.
See, you guys are just in the middle of everywhere, so it's either east or west. There's like I don't know. It's quite interesting.
It is. Pros and cons for everything. Likes and dislikes for the portal, and but like I told my wife, and I said, I could have a real job, and I get to coach, and I love that, and always have, and I'm going to be in it as long as I still like to coach. Guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all do a great job, and thank you so much for the time.
Appreciate you, Bill.
Thank
Bill
you,
Brock,
Bill.
Tarleton State women's basketball head coach. Join us here on the Straight Outta Whack podcast. Bill, good luck against Kansas State, and as the season gets started here in about 2.5 weeks.
Yep, 27th. All right, guys, see y'all.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta Whack podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.